Welcome to this special episode of Frequency Matters, the RF and Microwave Update series. I'm Pat Hindle, and today we're going to cover the MMIC market and the technology that MiniCircuits is bringing to that market. Here to discuss that with me is Randy Cochran, Product Marketing Manager for MMIC and LTCC products, and Raj Santakumar, MMIC Product Line Engineer at MiniCircuits. Welcome, Randy and Raj.
Thanks, Pat.
Thanks, Pat.
So, Randy, what would you say are the biggest drivers of innovation in the MMIC space right now?
Yeah, thanks, Pat. The biggest drivers of innovation are really around three different axes today. The first is frequency of operation. As applications move to higher frequencies, innovation is driving solutions that can really focus on that, right? If you look at 5G millimeter wave, which is 24 to 40 gigahertz in different bands, SATCOMs around 27 to 32, and then E-band, right, for microwave point-to-point backhaul radio, you're talking frequencies in the 71 to 86 gigahertz. Second, which ties into that, is really bandwidth, right? As wider and wider bandwidth are required to have higher data rates. Depending on that application, designers are looking for ways to simplify that, right? So again, when you're talking about 10, 15, 20 gigahertz of bandwidth, it requires some new topologies, new thoughts, new innovation. The other is the higher frequencies and wider bandwidths aren't just for amplifiers, things like that. It's really for the entire block diagram, right? You're talking about the PAs, MPAs, LNAs, but also things like mixers, multipliers, equalizers, couplers, balance, switches, everything on that block diagram and system. And then the third axis is really smaller footprints, right? Everybody's looking for lower weight, lower power. So in some markets, that smaller footprint's being driven by integration, where you're trading off process and performance to have a single IC. In other cases, you're looking at 2 to 3 functions being combined into a multi-chip module, like a power amplifier, a low noise amplifier, and a switch. And then in other markets, they're doing even further integration, where they're really combining, say, 10 plus different die into a single package to really optimize each die for performance in that multi-chip module.
All good points. And how are those innovations taking shape in product development at MiniCircuits, Raj?
Yeah, good question, Pat. So before I dive into the product development activities, I just want to highlight that MiniCircuits has a very strong portfolio of sub 20 gigahertz MMICs, like excellent LNAs and high linearity amplifiers. And what we are trying to do with the new development is to push our offering into higher frequencies to address some of the millimeter wave applications and SATCOM applications that Randy mentioned, right? Our goal is also to push into higher power, let's say around 1 to 10 watt range for the MMICs at this point, at all frequencies, right? So those are our two primary goals, to push into higher frequency and higher power, right? And in order to do those, we are engaged actively with advanced semiconductor foundries around the world to develop some of these high power amplifiers with GaN and GaAs even, and then to address the higher frequency part, we are working with short gate length processes. And the advantage for MiniCircuits is because we are fabless, we get to work with the foundries that suit our needs the best, right? So that's an added advantage for us. To give an idea of the kind of products we are releasing in this higher frequency range, I want to start with the AVA 20453MP and BL. These are 20 to 45 gigahertz MMICs in a die form with P1 dB around 20 to 23 dBm. And we are those have been already released, and we are actually working on a packaged version that's to be released soon. So like Randy mentioned, we just don't want to cover only the amplifier side, right? We do have other LNAs and other amplifiers that we have released in the high frequency range. But I want to highlight a few passives that we have released in this last year. So we have released a two-way power splitter, 25 to 35 gigahertz, a ×3 multiplier that covers 10 to 22 gigahertz of the output, and soon a 20 to 45 gigahertz, a ×3 multiplier. We also have released a 22 to 55 gigahertz coupler, a 10 to 40 gigahertz variable attenuator, and very soon we'll release our first IQ mixer that extends the frequency to all the way up to 65 gigahertz.
That's quite a wide portfolio. Randy, MMICs are one of the most competitive spaces in the market for RF products. How do you think MiniCircuits is able to differentiate themselves from other people in this space?
Yeah, MiniCircuits is unique in it's really the breadth of the portfolio, Pat. Today we're, as Roz mentioned, we cover up to 65 gigahertz. Over 20 years ago, MiniCircuits began developing our own families of MMIC products. Right? Early on, the differentiation was around amplifiers, say below 1 watt as medium power amplifiers and low noise amplifiers. Today, our MMIC offering has really expanded into mixers, multipliers, things Roz mentioned, but attenuators, baluns, bias tees, switches, equalizers, splitters, as well as MiniCircuits is the industry's exclusive supplier of MMIC-based reflectionless filters. Also, having these MMIC families plus the industry's broadest portfolio of LTCC filters, as well as our RF Essentials product line, core and wires, connectors, cables, enables MiniCircuits to really deliver complete signal chains from one trusted and preferred supplier. We also package our parts in-house. This allows us to control that quality and availability to meet our customers' timing and requirements without really depending on third parties. The last point is that we limit our products that we end of life. While many companies are discontinuing products after 3, 5, 7 years, MiniCircuits doesn't do that. We do occasionally end of life a product, but that's extremely rare. Our customers and partners are still able to buy the vast majority of products that have been released over our 54-year history. In fact, we still sell the very first product from MiniCircuits, the SRA1, that was initially released in the early 1970s.
Wow, that's impressive. So with the rapid pace of advancement with the RF semiconductors, how is MiniCircuits evolving to stay ahead of the game?
Yeah, I'll take that, Pat. So to achieve the goals that we have highlighted, to achieve the higher frequency and higher power operation, like I mentioned, we are exploring advanced semiconductor processes. But in addition, we're also improving packaging technology to get to those higher frequencies and to be able to handle those higher powers, which includes strengthening our in-house capability, like Randy mentioned. And in order to do all these new development activities, we are expanding our teams in a big way, right? So we just last year we opened up a design center in Carlsbad. For those of you who don't know, Carlsbad is about halfway between San Diego and Los Angeles in California, right? So we opened up a new design center. I joined the center, and we have brought in designers with background at MACOM and Corvo and other companies. And we are expanding that team. We have hired product engineers and test engineers. And as we speak, we continue to hire more people to support various functions at Carlsbad. So not only in Carlsbad, we are expanding the teams worldwide, right? We are, like Randy mentioned, we have a manufacturing and design site in Malaysia, which we are continuing to expand aggressively. And we have teams in Europe that we are also expanding. So it's worldwide expansion of teams, resources, test equipment, everything.
Well, thanks, Randy and Raj, for talking to me about the MMIC market and the solutions that MiniCircuit has developed for this. MiniCircuits really has a compelling MMIC product line, and I appreciate you guys talking with me today. You can find more episodes of Frequency Matters at videos.microwavejournal.com. Thanks for watching.